Welcome to Principles of Democracy, your trusted source for comprehensive coverage of political affairs. Today, we bring you an in-depth analysis of the recent Redmond congressional elections, where the voice of the people has once again reshaped the halls of power. In this pivotal moment of our democracy, voters across the nation exercise their civic duty, electing representatives to the 24th House and Senate. Here at Principles of Democracy, we recognize the significance of this democratic process and are dedicated to providing you, the voters, with information you need to make informed decisions. Your elected representatives and senators are the Real 42, elected from the RRC, which has now merged with the PAR to form the PCR. 42 remains to be an experienced player and one of the first people on this server. He's one who's always been known for his integrity, experience, and leadership qualities. Next up is Bezer Geezer, the former Speaker of the House, who's been here for a long time, has had some controversies, but seems to be very competent and an active player. Next up is Co531, recently fired magistrate, now turned newest independent representative of the House of Representatives, and our candidate for the current speakership election. He's a famous guy, and he's been known for his head collection. Next up, we've got Yeet Boy, the leader of the GER, who's been here a long time and has had a large amount of support. Now, let's talk about Unseated Duke, our new star, the current RBA chair, somewhat new, and who's gathered a lot of endorsements from many people, including RIC, who he ran with, and PCR. Next up is X Endeavor, the glorious owner of the server and an experienced politician. I don't think anybody else needs another introduction on him. Next up, we've got the new Kai Decro, who's been elected as part of the PAR, and people expect him to work well with the House, as we've seen in Aventura, where he was recently elected with Vanquish. Next up is Andreas, who ran from the Vagar Front, Vernicia's new party, and I believe is elected for the 4th time. He seems to be a great representative and will add much-needed experience to this new House. Next, Soundy83, who also ran from the Vagar Front, a colleague of Andreas, and many people think he has a lot of potential to be the change Redmont needs. Last but not least is Jedi, an active player of the server, former DPA secretary, and he has decided to go full-time politics. And, to cap it all off, 1950, one of the most experienced representatives in this House, and once again running for that wanted speaker position. Next up, we got our senators. First up, we've got D'Artanman, who's shown himself to be a very capable leader with his RIC, who recently resigned as a justice to fight corruption in Redmond. People are expecting him to be the savior of Redmond and to end corruption once and for all. Though he only won from the runoffs, but we still think the people want him. Next up is someone who no one had any qualms about voting probably. That's Vernicia, one of the longest serving senators who's been serving for more than 4 months, I believe. Definitely going to add stability to the Senate to balance that new blood. Next, Zine. Not much is known about this fellow here, but she seems to be endorsed by many and appears to have lots of promise. Next up is a fancy name. It's VD, who owns a big media house and a former representative, who has now become a senator. As well as that, he's known for wanting to change things for business, including his campaign to privatize healthcare. Next, Mr. Fluffy, who was elected with the RRC backing, who is a great guy, as it seems, and many are excited to see what else he can bring to the table during his stint as Senate this time. Last but not least is Crity, who won the runoffs with the support of her lovely friends at the GER, and we're expecting good things. As you can see, the diversity of voices in our elected body reflects the richness of our democracy. From seasoned veterans to fresh voices, these representatives and senators bring a myriad of perspectives to the table, ensuring robust debate and thoughtful policymaking. So, Let's now ask the public about their opinions.
So we have here with us Daigi, a former judge, a great legal mind, and we are gonna interview them a short interview regarding the recent elections and what is their opinion regarding that matter. So we have a very respected legal person in front of us. So we just want to answer some questions. Daigi, please introduce yourself to the camera.
My name is Daiji. I have been a longtime judge on the server, and well-respected attorney. However, I have not been on the server in almost a year, so I'm just coming back. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, thank you so much. So, uh, first question which I wanted to ask you as a legal person is, uh, do you have any specific opinions or what do you think about the recently elected senators and representatives? And do you think anyone specific stands out, like anyone who could really help the government? Anyone specific, if you have any in mind?
So I really don't know much about their policies. However, Dartan Man stands out for me for the Senate election because I did serve with him for a long time on the courts. He's a great legal mind, and I'm sure he'll do well in the Senate. And for the House of Representatives, X Endeavor stands out just because he's the owner. And I don't know about what's going on right now, but I remember during my time on the courts, there was a lot of controversy with staff on the server being in politics and how that overlapped.
Very true, very true. Uh, anyways, there were a lot many people who stood out in the election recently. Many competent people, but unfortunately, only 11 people could have gotten elected. And I wanted to ask you, do you think anyone specific should have got elected in the recent elections?
As far as the Senate goes, I think Milky was definitely a great choice. Unfortunately, he only got one vote, and I'm assuming that vote was himself. But Milky has been on the server for a very long time. He's been in politics for a while, and I don't know why he only got one vote. I feel like he should have gotten a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. We also need to have great policies and we have to do a lot of advertisements anyways. But let's move on to the next question. There are two candidates which might be speaker. Two very strong candidates. One is former speaker himself. His name is Bisa Geezer. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And the second is 1950. Both are good candidates. So, what do you think? Who among them will get elected as the speaker, or do you have anyone else who in the representative who do you think is competent enough? And also, the same goes for deputy speaker as well. If you have any personal preferences, and please do state why as well.
I mean, I personally have never met the Bezer Geezer because he is newer on the server. However, 1950, he's been here much longer. He's served in many high roles in politics. However, Bezer Geezer does have a second person winning from his party, and he did get more votes than 1950 in the general election. So I think there might be a higher chance that he ends up becoming the Speaker of the House.
Very well, but we had a question that Wizard, like we know he is new and still became speaker. So, uh, suppose someone new wants to join the server, is there any chance who could get up to high roles just by competency? Do you think that's a possibility?
Obviously it's a possibility, but also at the same time they need competence as well as experience on the server. I don't know how new exactly Bezer Geezer is, but I know for a lot of the other possible candidates, especially 1950, he's been on the server a while and he's also competent and very smart.
Yep, I think many would agree with this. But seeing the list of members, do you think this term would go smoothly, or do you think it would crash like the previous terms? What do you think? Would it go smooth and would it help the nation, or would it just be a big crash, big downfall? What do you think? Because
I
there are
mean,
a lot of many new faces as well in the in the representatives and Senate House. So yeah.
hopefully for the sake of Redmont and DC, hopefully it goes smoothly. But as with anything political, you never know. Everything's sort of up in the air, and you just have to see how everyone works out together. Even if there's one person different than a previous term, that could change everything, and you really never know how it's going to go until it happens.
That's very true. Thank you for giving us your time. We would meet you later, and I'll
Thank you
see
for
you around.
interviewing me. I greatly
Yep,
appreciate it.
yep, no worries.
Hi, I'm Andreas. Today we will be interviewing Dr. Explosive and we were gonna ask some questions that we want to have an answer about the house and more politics. Can you
Nice.
introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Explosive. You can just call me Doc. I am part of the PCR Council, work as the DLA as a clerk, and I'm part of the Investigator General's office.
Nice. So let's get started with the first question. Do you think anyone stands out among the reps and the senators, and why?
Okay, so starting from the House of Representatives, my definite first pick is Kai Dekro. He is a rising star in my opinion. He is someone who has very good ideas and a very strong moral compass. Basically, one of the few people in the House, except for you, Andreas, uh, who I genuinely think has the benefit of the Commonwealth in his head when he went in there. Another one is Bezer. I mean, Bezer's a controversial figure, but if this man is back in the House after causing so much chaos, he has good ideas and he's a good politician. In the Senate, I'm definitely looking forward to VD. I mean, it's not often you get a businessman in a senator's position, and he's definitely going to bring in some new ideas. Yeah.
I see, I agree. So, what are your stances on the speakership election, and who do you think should win the election?
Looking at the current status of the speakership election, I think it's going to boil down between Bezer and 42.
Okay.
And in all honesty, I don't think things are looking good for 42 because the way votes are splitting, I think Bezer's going to win just based off his experience. But in the end, no matter which way it goes around, I think we're going to end up with a good speaker.
That's true. All right. And what agenda do you want the House to work on?
Definitely fixing these loopholes that we've seen exploited during these past months. I mean, the sheer amount of chaos that has occurred, it needs to be fixed, and I think this is the Congress to do it. So I want to see clarification of laws, uh, re-establishment of the checks and balances, and generally getting rid of the corruption.
I see. And what are your predictions for this term? Will it be positive and successful, or will it be negative and failed again?
I actually am not sure. I'm concerned about RIC presence in the Senate and the House of Representatives. RIC was formed as a party, as an anti-RNP party, and was based solely on revenge. RNP is gone, and I don't think the RIC has it in them to bring about the good change that is needed. I'm definitely looking at the startling majority of PCR members. I think there are four, which is slightly concerning. But I think things should end up fine in terms of the House. The Senate is the one I'm more concerned of because of the sheer level of number of independents. As I believe it, VD is an independent, Zine is an independent, and Fluffy is recently an independent as well. So we're definitely seeing individual power plays in the Senate and not party politics.
Okay, that's a good answer. And the final question, will this term be like the some previous one?
Uh, I'm hoping it is. I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of new people in the Congress, so hopefully it's a precursor to a new era of activity and possibly finally fixing all these problems we've had.
All right. Thank you for answering these questions. We are done.
All right, so we are here now with Alexander Love, a very reputed lawyer, a legal mind, and former attorney general as well. So we are going to get his opinion on the recent, in the light of the recent elections. So Alexander, nice to meet you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No worries. So we are getting public opinions of all, and we have some specific questions for you right now. But before that, can you introduce yourself to the camera, to the newer persons who would might not know you?
Yeah, I am Alexander Love. I am the founder and current owner of Dragon Law Firm, the most prestigious law firm in the country of Redmont. I specialize in really intense, like government law and other high sensitive situations. Been a lawyer for a few years now.
All right, that's Alexander Love for you. So the first question coming up: do you think anyone specific might stand out this in this congressional term, or anyone who might prove to be extraordinary, someone who could really make an impact? Do you think? Do you have anyone in mind?
Yeah, I actually am looking a lot at Unseated Duke. He is fairly new to the realm of politics. However, he actually works at my law firm and he shows great promise. He is making great headway in the RBA right now. I see a great future for him. Other than that, most of the people that are in the Congress are people that have already been in here before. I mean, only a couple people here are new. I'm also looking forward to see what I don't know how to pronounce their name, Zinni Ziax, um, what they're gonna do. Mr. Fluffy going independent as well, I think will be interesting.
Yep, I think the whole country is waiting for what these new people are gonna make a change. Furthermore, another topic which is currently breaking news is the speakership election. It has always been a hell of a competition, and the two to three candidates who are going to run are from our intel is Pisa 1950 and 42. More people might even jump into this election, but who do you personally think should run, or who do you personally think would win these elections?
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a very, very close race. All of them have a support base. I don't think Bezer is actually going to win this one. He doesn't have as much leverage as he did in the last term. I personally support 1950. He is a man who sticks to his values. He has always been a fighter for democracy, has been great in the war against the RNP. 42, he wouldn't be bad. I think he might prevail as the winner just because he has the support of some RIC politicians. And if Bezer drops out, Bezer will likely back 42 over 1950. Now, the thing with 42 is he has shown that he will toe the party line when push comes to shove, rather than expand on anything new or pick any fights. So I think it'll be interesting to see.
Yep, very true. Because last time we had an interview with Daigi, and he was indicating the fact that uh, Beezer just might win, even though it might be close, because of the fact that he has one more member of his party who might support him. So that's that. But it's gonna be a very close election, and I think the entire country is waiting for what's gonna be the result. But moving on to the question, do you think this term will be successful, or will it crash like the previous one? Because there are many new semi or people who are just returning from inactivity. So, what do you have your opinion on that matter?
Well, I can't really predict what this Congress is going to be like. It's definitely going to have a nice spread. Device. a diverse set of views, I think this will be a healthy Congress. I think it will be a little bit gridlocked. There's gonna be have to have coalitions formed to get anything done, but I don't think the new players are going to be the reason that there's any sort of crash and burn. I think if anything, they're all very bright, smart, intelligent players who will bring diverse perspectives. We've had such a reign of the old guard, and that was the problem with the RMP. We've had these old guard politicians like Crix and Leisure that just amassed all this influence and took over. But these new players will bring reform, change, new ideas, and we'll have a healthier democracy because of it.
Yep, very true. Because many people had speculations that new players might hurt the Congress. Like there was a huge debate about it back some before I believe in politics, but in the politics channel. But anyways, moving on to the next question. What bill or agenda do you want the Congress to work on? Or any specific sectors like the healthcare sector or the justice sector, criminal role play? Anything you might want to convey that this needs to be worked on?
Yeah, I mean, I might be a little biased because I'm a lawyer, so of course I'm always going to push for legal reform. We have several problems with the Legal Board Act that is actually going to get addressed. It's been addressed and in the works in the Red Belt Bar Association. With unseated Duke chairing that and being a representative, I'm confident there will be legal reform, but we'll have to see if all the other representatives follow up on it. Some other acts like contracts, although that's been fixed a bit. Also, legal damages, that is still fairly critical bill that needs some reform and work. And overall, a lot of tort law. And for those who don't know what torts is, it's like civil damages. If you sue someone for, you know, doing something, that's what a tort is. And we need better laws of that variety.
Yep, very true. Because legal is the like the heart of the country, the legal sector. But that's something we do need to work on. Even I, who proposed the Legal Damages Act, I think that some changes might be needed as we progress. But anyways, as we know, only there were many people who ran for House and Senate both, but only the best one prevailed. Like only 11 got selected. So any candidate you had in mind who could have improved the quality of the House or who should have got elected in your opinion?
Yeah. So unseated in Tulu or Tolu, I don't know how his name is pronounced. I'll say Tulu for now. They went to a runoff, but I was really sad because they are both incredibly intelligent individuals. They're both lawyers, so they definitely know what they're doing around the law. I was sad to see that one of them was going to have to lose. I really would have loved to see both of them in the House, and I think it's a disappointment that the people just couldn't make that happen. The RAC fell like a couple votes short of that happening.
Yep. So that's very true. It was a very close runoff. I mean, uh, it's always like that with runoff elections. You need to only select one. Both were great candidates in my opinion. But anyone specific you might want to keep an eye on due to positive or negative reasonings, like you want to keep an eye on, notice them, their workings, etc.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be trying to hopefully I'm gonna be keeping a stern eye on Bezer. He has shown that he will work for himself over the people when push comes to shove. Um, Unseated Duke, I keep saying this. He's so promising. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. The rest, I can pretty much already predict what they're gonna be doing. Mr. Fluffy, he's another one I'd like to keep an eye on. I'm interested in his career. He's definitely had some changes with his political affiliation a few times in the past couple months. I think he's still trying to figure out what his values are, and I'm interested to see where those actually end up.
Yep. Uh, that's all the questions for now. So, thank you so much for coming in the interview and sharing your opinion. We were very glad to have your public opinion of such a reputed lawyer. It would really help in boosting the morals of the representatives. And that's it. Thank you so much. This is Alexander Love for you, and it's me, Bips V4A reporting. We are now with Avanish, an active player of the server, and currently we are at his cozy home. So, without wasting any time, let's just start the interview. Avanish, does any rep stand out to you, and why? Do you think anyone else should have been elected, or he might have been a great addition to the current Congress?
While I don't have strong opinions towards any representatives, I feel that unseated Duke is someone who will bring some new perspectives into Congress. Overall, Congress as a whole is really even, and there is not a huge party bias over other parties. Due to that, I don't feel different people need to be elected.
Okay, so the next question coming on to you is, could this term make an actual impact on the country, do something well? Why? Or also, do you think this term could lead to a big crash or downfall? To justify your answer as well.
So, for your question, uh, now with Crick's and RNP's downfall, I would say that the country has some rebuilding to do, like catching up on old business and making sure the departments can do their job. I feel that this storm will make a huge impact on if the country is able to survive or not in the future. However, I feel very confident that at more with the current Congress can bring a positive impact to the Congress.
All right, Avinish. So the final question coming for you is, who are you looking forward into the Congress and why?
I look forward to having a stable Congress for once and for many of the backlog tasks to be finished. One of the first things I'm looking forward to is the confirmation of our secretaries, which have been pending for over a month. This will finally allow the executive to do their regular duties in Redmond without any stress from the Congress.
Yep, thank you so much for attending this interview. Your opinion matters a lot, and many representatives can fix their mistakes upon the opinions given by you, that is the part of the public.
With a pulse on public sentiment, we now turn to our sponsors for a brief interval or an ad break. Our sponsors play a crucial role in supporting our mission of informed democracy. Let's take a moment to thank them for their continued partnership.
Hey man, it's your boy Lil B. Down in Ohio, fucking all these bitches, drinking Carlos Rossi, swag so saucy, posted in Cleveland, drive to Columbus, bitches suck my dick, cut my swag on 100. Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio. Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio. Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio. Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio.
We at Redmond Production House are calling all creative minds. Are you a talented voice actor or a dubbing artist, actor, or a creative genius looking for your next opportunity? look for no further. We are on a hunt for passionate individuals who can bring stories to life with their voice, captivate audiences with their acting prowess, and ignite imagination with their creativity. Whether you are a seasoned professional or a rising star, we want to hear from you. We are offering a competitive compensation ranging from $500 to $5,000 for your incredible talent. Please contact Bipsy4 on Discord if you are interested.
Are you tired of getting sued?
Yes.
Do you want a personal lawyer?
Yes.
Do you want the best legal minds working for you?
Yes.
Do you want to earn maximum compensation from a lawsuit?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Then hire Dragon Law Firm today, catering to all your legal needs.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for patiently waiting. Now let's dive into the agendas and interviews of our elected representatives. From healthcare reform to climate action, and from economic revitalization to social justice, these leaders are committed to addressing the pressing issues facing our nation.
This is Bibs C4 and we are currently with the recently elected representative named Co531. As you can see, we are near his iconic head collection of precedents, and we are very honored to have you go into this interview. Uh, so, without wasting any time, I just want to get into the first question. Uh, how do you feel by getting into the house?
I feel great getting into house. It was a tight race. I was one of the last people to get in before the runoffs, and it was a little nerve wracking with the electoral emergency and how the in-game plugin didn't work right away. But I feel great.
Yep, many people would have been excited to have you in the house, and personally, I am looking forward to your work as well. But moving on to my next questions, what are your policies or plans which you want to implement this term?
Some of my plans for this term are to fix some of the loopholes in the Constitution, including some of the things that were abused last term and some of the things that Matthew and the judiciary did and abused the last term as well. I've also been asking citizens what changes do they want to see themselves. So, and that gives me an idea of my priorities of what I already have planned, and that also gives me an idea of what I need to be doing in the future.
So, Ko, the next question for you is, what do you want to accomplish this term? This might be the one of the most important questions asked to the representatives and senators. So, what do you want to do this term?
Uh, I want to accomplish, like I said, with my plans. I want to fix some loopholes, fix some of the things that were abused. I already have a couple bills that I want written. I have one already done and already have a co-signer for it. I'm already ahead of the game, and I already am working towards some things I want to accomplish, like fix the Constitution.
Great answer. So, my next question is, do you have any specific topic you want to address, any specific sector you want to focus in, and do you have any bills in mind that you want to propose this term? Any specific ones?
Well, some of the things that I'm looking for as some of the first things I want fixed is the bill I already have written is called the Judicial Officer Update Act, and what it's supposed to do is fix that little contradiction in the Constitution that Matthew was kind of abusing to hire and fire judges and justices, and it's supposed to separate the court clerk from judicial officers. I also have a couple other things, like maybe working on the nomination process when a seat becomes open in either chamber. I might want to change that process up a little bit. And there's a couple other things I was looking at, but no solid plans for it yet. But I'm always looking at everything.
So, as we know, the speakership election recently ended. So, what are your opinions on this? Because you unfortunately did lose the speakership race?
Well, we already know that 42 won speaker. I did try running. I did fail. I hopefully I will become deputy speaker. I will be running for that as well. But it was a good and fair race between me and 42. I tried my best and I lost. Well, we already know that 42 won speaker. I did try running. I did fail. I hopefully I will become deputy speaker. I will be running for that as well. But it was a good and fair race between me and 42. I tried my best and I lost. I think all my colleagues are great. No one really stands out more than anyone else, but I will say that I do like how the diversity and how there's a bunch of people from a bunch of different parties. I think one of the most important things when it comes to important decision making like you have in Congress and you also have sometimes in the Supreme Court is a diversity of thought. I think that's the most important thing because when you have a bunch of people thinking the same ways, then it basically feels anyone who thinks differently basically doesn't feel like they're being represented or their vote doesn't matter. And I think a diversity of thought is important to make everyone feel represented and everyone to feel included in politics.
Yep, that's it. Thank you for answering our questions and attending this interview. We wish you best of luck.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Hello.
Andreas. I'm gonna interview you today, and I'm gonna ask you some questions about you and how you're gonna like work on House Representative.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. Uh, you're new in the service, so you possibly have less playtime compared to the other representatives, but will this affect you being a House representative? And will it affect, like, how will you work with it?
So it's my fourth time in Congress and I gained experience and so stuff, but I never made a bill before, so maybe.
Okay, and who do you support for like speaker election and
Um
why?
Breather or the real person because they have a lot of experience in the Congress and I believe they will do their job well.
Okay, that sounds right. And what are your policies and bills that you want to propose this term? And do you have any tests and you want to complete as a House representative?
I thinking about making a new department or new department for the RBI. But I want to make my first bill to help the citizens of Redmond.
Okay. What will your main agenda be this term?
Um, that's a good question. Um, yeah, to work uh, on the department, I think. So, the department is very important, I think, but I cannot say which department.
Okay, so why did you decide to run for House in the first place?
Um, as already said, to help the people in Redmond to make my first bill and to help the people in my party.
Okay, so do you think this House will be successful?
Yes, I think this time too there are experienced people in Congress like Reader, the real person, of course me, and they do their job well or will do their job well.
Okay, and what impact can you have in the House? And like, how will you make Redmond a better Redmond?
I'm not
sure yet, but I want to work with all guys in the Senate and in the House and so. And yeah, but I'm not sure this
Okay,
time.
okay, okay. Thank you for listening to me and answering these questions. We're done.
No problem.
Have I hope you have a good day, and I will see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Alright, so now we are here with none other than unseated Duke, one of the newest representatives to get ever elected. So, unseated Duke, many OGs might not know you, or same goes for the newer people as well. So, can you introduce yourself to the camera?
You said introduce myself.
Yep, introduce yourself.
So my name's Unseated Duke One. I'm new to the server since about January. That's really it about me. I'm an attorney at DragonLaw and the RBA chairman, as well as a new representative.
Alright, so the first question that's coming at you is you're a pretty new player, so many people speculate that your inexperience might affect your workings in the house. So, what are your answer to those people?
I think fresh eyes and fresh perspectives on everything is a great way to get things changed. So no matter how new you are to something, I think the ability to change things comes with new perspective. Because a lot of the previous houses, from what I've seen and been told, it seems like there's not a lot of movement because it's like kind of gridlocked. And so I think getting new people and new experienced people in there will help move things along. As for my like personal experience, I've really put a lot of work into the server itself, like not necessarily maybe in-game hours, but on forums, filing lawsuits, learning at the law firm I work at, and now being the RBA chair, and I think that gives me a lot more credit as coming into house that I've put a lot of work in. I think anybody can do anything as long as they put the effort in, and that can be seen with what I've done so far in game and outside of the game.
Yep, a great answer. But in the light of the recent speakership elections, we are curious to get your opinion on the matter.
Yeah, I think that 42 will be a good speaker. Um, I like you said, coming into the house, learning a little bit more about its like dynamic and how it works. I think that his perspective as speaker will go a long way, and I think he'll do a pretty good job at it.
Yep. Alright, so we could say that you support 42 as a speaker.
I would have supported anyone as a speaker in the beginning. I'll give them my full faith as long as they work and they grow that fit trust. Because again, I believe that you can give everyone trust in the beginning, and then we'll see kind of what happens um, down the road. But I do support all my colleagues, no matter their party or affiliation. So if anyone would have gotten it, I would have supported them, especially in the beginning, until they maybe break my trust or show that they can't do the job.
Yep, that's a great answer. So, furthermore, do you have any specific opinions, may they be negative or positive, about the composition of the House or the Senate? And is there anyone specific you are excited to work with? Any of your colleague?
Um, I don't have any negative opinions. I think the House and Senate is is like a well-rounded group of people. A lot of different parties are being represented, which is great. We have some individuals in the Senate, which is great. I think that's one really cool thing to see. So really proud of that. I'm really excited to work with probably in the Senate. I'm really excited to work with all of them because the idea of the Senate's cool to me. As for the House, I'm probably most excited to work with Ind, just because I think he has a lot of good perspectives on uh, obviously the game itself, but more of the House and Senate. And I'm really excited to work with some other people, that have been influential in the House and previously, like Bezer, um, and excited to see what 42 does with the speaker role.
Alright, so do you have any specific message to the supporters or voters who elected you? Any promises you want to make to them?
Um, Thank you for voting for me. That's my first kind of message. As for promises, just know that I'll always be accountable for my actions. So if I ever do something wrong and I'm called out for it, I will definitely not be taking the fifth. I will speak up on it and be accountable for anything I may do. And I also will hold other people accountable. So if someone else does something wrong, I won't be afraid to say that they did something wrong as well.
All right, so there's one thing many people wanted to ask you, and I'll ask you myself in this interview as well. I believe you might be the newest person who somehow managed to get into the house, but the main question arises is how did you get manage to get up in such a high position at such a low time? Because you might prove to be an inspiration to the newer people who might join the server. So, do you have any tips, suggestions for them specifically?
Yeah, so when I first joined the server, I think I was very intimidated and overwhelmed. I think that's a feeling a lot of people get just because like there's so much you want to learn. And for me, I'm like I want to learn a little bit of everything. And I really wanted to be like attorney in the game. I wanted to experience that aspect of it. So just coming into the game, I was very overwhelmed. I went and studied for the exams, passed those exams. I had some pretty good like mentors, like learning from people like Casey, and some other individuals kind of helped me out along that path, and then I applied for a job. That's like the number one thing I say to all new players is get a job. Um, don't try to start your own company so early on. Don't try to do it yourself so early on. I think the best support you can get is getting a job somewhere because those are like mentors, people that can teach you things about that career or that path. Um, and then as for the government position, I knew I wanted to do policy and politics in this server, so I just jumped right in with working as an attorney, learning as much as I can, putting my best foot forward, and then also having that in-game experience, like I own property, building my house up, building other property up, having friends, and then joining a political party is a big thing. I think running as an individual, you do have to be known more as a person, and not your policies. So joining a political party, people see your policies more, and that can help you out as a new player. Um, and really, I think the overall answer to that question and every question about getting into high government power so early on comes back to put your best foot forward. If you run and then don't try, or you don't run at all, or you don't join a party, or you don't do good at your job, or you're mean to people, I always like to be nice to people, joke around with people, um, then I think that's where you're limited. I think you need to just, put your best foot forward, and that will help you get in any position you want.
Yep, thank you for the suggestion. So thank you for the suggestion to all the new people. So finally, last question. What bills or agenda are you planning this term? So what do you want to focus on? Which sectors, probably like the healthcare, legal sector, anything specific? And another question which I wanted to add, will your role as a RBA chair maybe reduce your efficiency in the house?
So, as for my agenda and plans, I hope to work on the legal aspect of the law, more of like the legal department, holding lawyers accountable, holding the government accountable, um, holding the judicial system accountable, and just making sure that revamping some of those old legal laws, maybe like the modern Legal Board Act, the you know, Legal Damages Act, focusing on the legal aspect of the law. That's the main sector. I do want to kind of look into some other areas, but I think to get my feet wet and to learn more about the house, I want to start working on those things I'm more familiar with before I jump into other sectors. As for my role as RBA chair in Congress, I think it will help me a lot, actually. I don't think it will interfere at all. um, Working for the RBA has been really fun. We've done some great work so far, and we're revamping it a lot. And I think being in Congress will not only help me revamp the RBA, which needs to be done. I think everyone can agree that RBA needs to be revamped. So working in Congress will help with that. But having four councilmen who are great and two committees that are really well rounded, really takes the load off of me as the RBA chair. So I don't think that time-wise, I don't think they'll really interfere with each other.
Yep, that's all the questions we had for you. We wish you best of luck as the RBA chair and in the house, and we look forward to seeing you on the server and to make some revolutionary changes, because many people see a lot of potential in you. Like in previous interviews we had with other people, they thought of you as a person with integrity as well as potential. So we sincerely hope that you live up to that potential. So for now, I'll thank you for joining us, and this is me, Bipsy, for a signing off.
Hello, we are here with Andreas, a recently elected representative for this term. First of all, Andreas, congrats on getting elected. Can you
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself?
Thank you for voting me, whoever did. And I'm here to answer some questions, I think. And yeah, I'm Andres, so I will be doing that.
Yeah, if you'd like, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Andres. I'm elected to be a representative for this term, and I'm happy to be there. So yeah,
Okay. Um, do you think anyone specific might stand out? Anyone who might prove to be notable for you?
uh, I'm waiting a lot of this term, like from this representative in like Senate, but I don't think someone will get out.
All right. Who do you support in this speakership election?
Uh, I personally don't know who to vote, at least for now, but I think I see Sporty to winning it, and of course it's deserved.
Do you see 42 winning it?
Yeah,
For what reasons?
well, I personally don't know. As I said, I should have studied their past and things, but people vote him, so I support him.
Okay.
If
Do you
people vote him,
think
I personally think that he there is a reason for voting him. So
okay. Do you think this term will be successful or will it crash like the last one? Because there are a
um,
significant number of newer or semi-new players. How do you think it could affect the Congress?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna like work this out. I'm sure it will be successful.
Okay. We will see. What
Okay.
agenda would you want the Congress to work on?
What?
What agenda would you want the Congress to work?
Okay, so I have to think about this, like my best and agenda, but at this time I just want to help Redmond and their citizens.
Okay. Do you have any candidate in mind who should have been elected?
Uh, that should have been elected. I think Ezlost.
Sorry, who?
Zilost.
Oh,
Ezlost.
okay. Why is that?
Well, Ezlo's been elected many times, and I think he's suited for the place. Probably will be a better representative than me.
Oh, okay. Do you do you have anyone specific you're going to keep an eye on in the Congress?
I will be keeping an eye on all of the representatives so I can probably learn about that and see what they're doing so I can be sure what I do with my business things. So I will be keeping
Okay.
a small eye to all
Okay.
representatives.
You are a member of both the GER and VF. So GER supporters did question, why did you not run with their party?
I I'm a member of both and I respect both. but I wasn't gonna run in the first place until like VF told me to run with them, and I did. So I can help Redmond to be a better Redmond, and yeah, that's the kind of reason why I joined.
All
I
right,
didn't
all
run
right.
in the first.
And one last question. Do you have any specific person you're looking forward to work with?
Um, I'm excited to work with all the representatives, so I don't
You're
have a
excited to work with everyone equally?
yeah, yeah,
All right,
probably.
that's fine. So that was it. Interview with Andreas. I hope you all like to watch, and that's it.
Now we are with 9050, a seasoned veteran and the tough candidate for speakership. Which bills or agendas do you have this term?
My main focus this term will be working with the rest of the Congress on fixing what has been broken in the last couple terms. We need to we need the institutions to be trustful again, and we need to make a proper, thoughtful, and profound debate on the Constitution.
How can you make Redmond better?
I can contribute with my ideas and my experience in Congress to improve our country.
Is there another person you look forward to work with and why?
I would like to work with almost everyone in Congress, but I have to admit that Eat and I have been working together for some time now, and we both expect that to be still a thing.
Do you think this term will be successful and for what reasons, considering the fact that there are some new people?
It depends on what one considers a successful term. For this term, I would consider it successful if we manage to rework properly and in a multi-partisan way the Constitution and give back to the institution that trust they deserve. And seeing that no party has achieved more than 2 seats, I think this is a really interesting scenario in which all of us will be forced to negotiate and debate with each other. It's definitely going to be an interesting term. And for sure, having new people in Congress usually helps to bring up fresh ideas, which is always good.
Well, unfortunate for you that you lost the speaker race. Do you have anything you want to comment on that matter?
Well, yeah, I have something to comment. Out of the 4 candidates that were co-42 Beezer and I'm not too worried about 42 getting in. For now, it looks like he is going to be active and bring Congress back to its functioning state. He has done what I was planning on doing in the first 24 hours. I hope that he keeps doing that and we finally, after quite some terms now, can see Congress work as it should.
All right, so these were it for the in-game interviews, but unfortunately, we could not get Mr. Real 42 and Mr. Dartenman's opinions on the current House and Senate because they could not find the time to come online. But fortunately, we had discussed their policies in the DMs in a form of a written text interview. So we request that you all please go through these interviews which we had written on text, and again we are so sorry that we could not manage a in-game interview, but I hope this will help solve your questions.
As we engage with these elected officials, we gain valuable insights into their vision for the future and their commitment to serving the public interest. Before we bid adieu, let's not forget to acknowledge the recent Speaker and President of Senate elections, where Mr. Real 42 and D'Artagnan have emerged victorious. Their leadership will play a crucial role in guiding the legislative process and fostering collaboration among their peers. As we conclude this episode, let us reaffirm our commitment to the principles of democracy. By staying informed and actively participating in the democratic process, we can shape a better future for our generations to come. Thank you for joining us. This is Principles of Democracy, signing off.